evening, everybody. It is Thursday night. We are literally 45 minutes after the end of a European tie, which, much like every other European tie this season, has been fun watch. So welcome to Not Another Rangers podcast. We're on a Thursday night, not because we're starting a new live match reaction thing, but because we're busy on Friday night and we cannot make it. So ever the professionals, we thought we'd come on and still give you a show tonight. And the sad thing is nobody will be watching because they think we're on tomorrow. So if you do want to catch us up tomorrow and wonder why you can't get your comments in and all that, my apologies. We will not be on. So, but it does give you an extra couple of days to watch this episode and before Monday night's Hibs game comes.
Which again, we only born on Monday night either, Gary.
Actually, won't be on again Monday night either. See these pesky games changing, Christmas coming, events happening, all these other things that go just get in the way of our normal Monday, Friday pod. Who knew that could happen? So anyway, this is going to be it's effectively a live match, not a live match, it's a match reaction pod. And we'll talk about some of the stuff that happened in the game just a short while ago. So they'll be a little more emotional, they'll be a little more frustrated, a little more critical of some of the players you might be after you've had time to reflect, but we'll hopefully give a relatively balanced opinion on how good, bad, and indifferent and boring the game might have been for those that watched it. So, Ricky, you're back. You didn't make it Monday night because you were flying home, I think, if I remember rightly. So, how are you?
Yeah, no, good, mate. Good to be home just in time for Rangers. This is how bad Rangers are, mate. All my mates in Cyprus are texting me the night going, "Oh, Rangers are playing. I hope they win. And basically taking the piss knowing that we're going to get beat again. So, honestly, mate, Rangers. The only thing in your life that keeps stabbing you in the heart, mate. But apart from that, I'm good. Looking forward to Christmas.
And Scott, yourself, so you're a busy man tomorrow night. When it's for most people, it's Friday night, Christmas parties and things like that. You're actually just babysitting your granddaughter while your family goes out.
Basically, just basically babysitting them all night. So I can't put two places in one. Shoes to you're going to enjoying yourself. You've got a life, a social butterfly, and don't know what Ricky's up to. He's probably doing something. Probably in a tractor or something somewhere, but I don't know what Ricky's up to. He's a different atmosphere for us. He's probably somewhere quite warm. You're freezing.
What's the weather like, Ricky, actually, this time of year?
It's good, but it's been raining all week, which we needed, mate, because the reservoirs were quite empty. But today's been since I got back on Wednesday night, it's been absolutely pissing it down, mate. So I think it's getting me used to coming back to Scotland, mate. I'll be back to Scotland next Saturday night, so it's getting us used to that. Not as cold as you guys are getting it, but getting that used to that rainy feeling, mate.
Nice. And the good thing is you'll still be used to the football. It's not going to be any better, trust me, when you actually see it in person and you've seen it on telly for the last spell.
80 quid I paid for 2 tickets for the Motherwell match for me and my best mate. So me and him will be back. We'll meet you guys before for a few jars, and then we'll probably be back in the bar by about 5 minutes past 3. If Rangers play the way they've been.
The good thing is Mother will play good football. At least you'll see a decent side passing.
Very true, mate. And a decent striker as well that they found from absolutely
nowhere. Whatever his name is.
Exactly.
When you started this point, Gary, you were always quite positive. You're getting worse. You're getting as bad as me, if no worse.
I know.
Don't get me wrong, it started every season I'm positive, but we're now in December, we're 4 months in, it's starting to get a bit wearing. There's only so much positivity you can do.
Can I pull you up on one comment? Your positivity went through the roof and way too much when you said that Shermitty was going to be the new Calvert-Lewin, and we just had to wait, and he's
I don't know I didn't say how long we're going to have to wait. I mean, Calvert-Lewin took 4 years before he got there.
I think there's more chance of seeing him in a dress and a pair of high heels than there is actually being a striker, mate. The same.
I think that some of that was balanced maybe the fact that Miovski and Danilo just looked so bad before that. I was maybe holding out some hopes. So I could be proved wrong on that one. I'm not. It's not what I'm putting much money on. Put it that way in terms of confidence. So coming to the game then, I suppose. I Ferencváros 5:45 on a Thursday night in a Europa League groups where we're already pretty much out of it. 1 point after 5 games. Really, you needed a win tonight to even have the slimmest of slim opportunities to still qualify. Danny Rowe made 2 changes. I think that they took out the Diomande, who was suspended, obviously, and the other one was Bajrami, who's not in the squad, not obviously injured, but also still not in the squad. Brought in Tav and Danilo, I think. I'm right. Is that who he brought in? I was trying to remember it earlier on, and went with a kind of 5-2-3 from that scene. So I missed the first half hour because I was stuck in traffic. For him, that was heading back for Braehead tonight. It was a nightmare in terms of there. So I'll rely on you telling me the exciting things that happened in the first half that I missed. First half hour that I missed. But in terms of team lineup, Scott, how were you with that?
Listen, we know what the squad's like, Gary. We know limitations are in the squad. So the lineup was fine for me because you looked at the bench, but you're going to put anybody else in at that moment in time because they could have come on like what we've seen. But no, we've not got a great squad of players, to be honest with you. And I think the more you look at the way we play, the more you look at the results we're getting, you're actually starting to feel more sorry for Danny Rule. And I know he was getting criticism last week and the week before, and people are starting to question him, but I don't think you can question him at all. Maybe in one or two things like substitution time in our selections at times, but overall, the squad's awful, and I think we can't really judge a man until we brought in a few of his own players, because I think the shape's actually a bit decent at times. And I think we go through spells in games. I thought we started the game tonight well. I thought we were comfortable in the ball. We were zipping it about a wee bit. Sometimes it's loose as usual, but we were zipping it about. We didn't look under any pressure. And we were passing forward, and I thought Aaron started quite well. Kisama was letting himself down as usual, but I thought Aaron was getting forward well. I thought Raskin and Cameron started... Barron started well. So I thought Raskin had a good first half, but Bojan up front was trying to get involved, and I just thought there was something there. It looked like we'd be a bit of confidence, do you know what I mean? But in Farosh, they scored a lot of goals, Gary, but you look at our team over the other games, they don't have a lot of possession in a lot of games, but they score a lot of goals.
Yeah. They're not a good side, though. I mean, they're a good season this year. They're not a good side. I mean, if you look at the quality.
But neither are we, so I thought we looked okay. But I've come to the realisation that what I've seen this season, I'm not going to expect to see World beaters in the park. I'm just looking for improvements, small improvements over the piece where I've last seen them, and I thought there's some there since Danny Rose took over, but there's still a hell of a lot to do, and there's still a hell of a lot missing. But that's not going to improve until other players come in. But I thought the first half an hour we'd done okay. I wasn't really didn't put us under any pressure. We had a couple of glimpses putting the ball forward. They did as well, but I thought we did okay in a away game for Europe.
Yeah. And Ricky, in terms of team lineup, before we get into some of the bits of the game, there wasn't a lot of options at the bench. You maybe could have played Sterling, but he was only ever going to play half an hour and 45 minutes. Same with Moore. I think Danny Rode already said that. Cameron, who's not going to look in anyway, but also been injured. There wasn't an awful lot of different options could have played from the start.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree with everything Kerr said about Danny Rowe. I mean, I think the lineup tonight, we'll have a lot of, Baz Rami started to show a bit for him, and then bang, he pops his hamstring, which is unfortunate. So when you seen the lineup, the only one for me was I thought young Curtis could have been given an opportunity instead of Danilo, because the way you're playing, you need that pace. And I think with Danilo, when you've got Danilo and Gassama, Gassama gets away with murder for me, mate. They don't offer like that lineup we had last season when we were playing that formation. You had the pace of Czerny, and you had Dessers, who was brilliant in Europe, probably because he was looking for a move, but he was outstanding in Europe. And Czerny at the breakaway was able to find them, and we were able to hit teams on the break. And I thought in the first half, you've seen it a few times, but we're still... I thought the first half, if I'm being honest, Gary, I actually thought Rangers, that was like the most probably we've seen a Rangers European performance, as in we got the goal, and if we'd managed to hold out until half-time, you'd look at it and go, brilliant, we got a goal on the break. We managed to get in at 1-0, but the second half was completely back to Felwell's Rangers. The second half, mate, was with the lineup and everything like that, was all over the place. Barron, God knows what happened to him at half-time, but I don't know if Cameron maybe tied his shoelaces together because he wants a start or something like that, but the amount of times he gave the ball away, and then it became contagious. So I thought the first half was a decent Rangers away performance. this up until 44 minutes, and then the team had a complete brain fart for that 1 minute, and then the second half was everything that we've seen this season from this Rangers team, Gary. I thought the second half was awful. They deserved the victory in the end. And the other thing is, but I'll be honest with you, mate, this may be a little bit controversial, but I think in the long run, it'll do us the world of good, because if we'd been good tonight and we've managed to get less shit players in the team over the last 4 weeks, and the players that weren't good enough last season are suddenly in our team and they're shining that weren't good enough last season, right? But if you keep winning, then you worry about if we would be doing enough work in January and then into the summer, mate. So I think in the long run, you can see that when we step up a level, we might get away with it in Scotland with these players and we might get victories, but when you step up the levels in Europe, we're absolutely, Farewell's Rangers, mate, is miles off it, and that showed again in that second half.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll go through some of the bits of the game. I say I missed bits and pieces. I mean, at the end of the day, we've got two centre-halves that can't defend at all, and we've got two midfielders that can't pass the ball. We've got three strikers that can't score more often than not, although Miovski's come onto a little bit of a game there, and that's just for starters. You know, there's a whole lot of other gaps across the team other than that. I think, Scott, the first 10 minutes, I was well, don't tell the police, actually, on the car on a stream at the side, so I wasn't watching it, but it was there at the side of me, so I was listening, and while I was stuck in traffic, I watched one bit when I think the ball comes a straight ball over, and they should actually score. Fernandez just watches a guy run beside him, and the guy hits a shot by the post. Is that right? I think I remember when watching my phone, it looked a pretty straightforward.
The boy Delhi, yeah. Like I say, the centre backs on the ground. I think you see in Giga, he's good at recovery. Giga, when he doesn't have to think, he can tackle. He can make last ditch tackles. Great. He's good at that. It's when he's having to think in his positional sense, his awareness. But Fernandez is exactly the same. It's when he's having to think, his positional play is poor, his awareness is poor. And the bonus way they two when we play him, because if the other two centre backs are fit, they're not on the team. It's just where we are at this moment in time. But I think Fernandez is. I think that as a player there, even though he made that, he wasn't great at times. But I think he's a lot more comfortable when the ball coming out than he was when he first started. It's just for a guy that side, he's not very. His physicality in the air is not the greatest for somebody that size. And Jiga's the same in there, but on the ground, his passing's not the great, but his awareness and his reaction and is really good. I mean, he bailed Tav out a couple of times, like we started in Tav, because I think over the last 4 games he's been awful. And I think he's starting to show why he shouldn't get a new deal. I agree with when you said before, he's played him far too much. I've overplayed him in times, and I think this is starting to show in his body and starting to show in his performances. But that back four, Gary, you can't start with. You'll probably not start with that back four next season at all. Do you know that way?
None will be there, will they?
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not him either.
Fernandez will still be there, but I think he'll be a starting.
Right, so he's sticking with Fernandez, and I'm going to stick with him because I hear this a lot. When he's a young boy, he's inexperienced, he's got potential, he's got certain things. He's 24-year-old. Yes, he's come through the ranks. He's not played a lot of professional football, but there's basics in defending. And even before we get to the second goal later on, one is not to just not look at the ball. One is not to just watch a guy run beside you. There are things that are just basic defending.
But that's Harry, but when you've not played at this level before.
Exactly. You've got to be.
And you've got to see he is young footballing wise because it took him a
He's 24 years old. He's a year younger.
He might have really started at Palace until that age.
I know you're being way too hard on him.
Palace, he was about that age and he was a striker. So everybody's different when they grow up in football wise. I'm not saying he's going to turn into a great defender. And you're right, the basics he struggles with at times, but I don't know why you pay $3.5 million for him. Probably because it's an English team you bought him from. You buy him from anybody else, it's probably 500,000 at the most. But because it's an English team, we've been put into. You want him, it's $3.5 million. But for centre back terms, he's not good enough at the moment in time. But we've not got any other options. To be honest with you.
So Ricky, what attributes do you see in him then? Tell me those attributes.
Yeah, mate, he's not going to come in and be like, what are you expecting? You expect he's 24. I know what you're going about. That's no young and everything, but he's came up the levels. He's came from the lowest division in England, and he's trying, like, he's been thrown in. He wasn't getting any minutes, and then he's been thrown into the Rangers team. And I think over the last few weeks, he's actually looked decent. Now, he stepped up to the night. He's playing in a team, Gary, that is an absolute shambles, man. The goal starts, you're right, you go on about this all the time. The goal starts because we can't keep the ball going forward. Basic passes. Barron has been brilliant the last few weeks. He was dreadful in that second half. Every time he got the ball, it looked like he was just, it was like he'd never played football before. And the goals that we lose, did you see how far the boy played the ball, man? It was like a 70-yard pass. I actually thought it was going out, and the winger did well to keep it in. But again, we give the ball away in easy possession. Danny Rowe, like Kerr says, must be pulling his hair out. And then Tav is like, falls asleep again, like doesn't even try and stop the cross, and then puts his hands up, like, and don't get me wrong, it was dreadful defending from Fernandes, but I don't think you should be chucking Fernandes under a bus. There's loads of players in this team that deserve to get chucked under a bus, and it deserves to be driving at 120 mile an hour. You start with Shermiti, you start with a Viking. Honestly, that guy should be made to cut his hair, because I've never seen a Viking as big a pussy as that in my entire life, Gary, right? So you've got other players in that team that need to take more of a responsibility, but it's so basic football. Like, when we were good in the past, we never gave away goals like this. Like, we gave away bad goals, Gary, but the goals that we concede, and it's a team. It's the whole team that is like giving away these disgusting goals. It's easy to chuck Fernandes under the bus. It's easy. I thought Jigger was actually probably our best defender tonight, and he's been absolutely dreadful. But it's the whole team that needs to stop making these mistakes, because Rowe was trying to coach them, and he's trying to teach them on the training ground, mate. And these players are just absolute. I mean, let's go into the goal we lost on the 44th minute. Butland has got the ball in his hands, and he kicks it, mate. We've got 60 seconds to go. He kicks it all the way to their goalkeeper. All the team is out of position. You've got 1 minute to defend. He just has to roll the ball out and just keep possession for 60 seconds. That is the sort of thing that Rowe is dealing with, man. This squad is weak. It's pathetic, Gary, and you could chuck so many players under a bus, mate. I think it's harsh. Me personally, sorry, just it's harsh to chuck Fernandes under a bus at this point.
Just to be fair, I wasn't chucking Fernandes under the bus. I mean, I don't think.
You did.
I don't think he's got a lot. I'm saying I don't see a lot of attributes in him, but he gets a bit of a. So I'm going to pick up this comment then from Jackson. So Thelo Asgard's younger than Fernandes. He's come up through the levels as well. He didn't start playing professional.
But Asgard showed nothing. Like he is pathetic, mate. He gets the ball in the middle of the park and punts it 20 yards back. It's incredible that this guy even plays for Norway. For what we were told we were getting, Gary, for what this guy does. He's dreadful. Like, he's
even
one
though
of the worst.
I'm still not letting it. I've not changed my opinion just because I met him.
He is one of the worst players. Have you met him in Curry's? You should have went and got a razor and shaved his hair off.
Did you not see he took his dreadlocks out? I've done that for him. Took his dreadlocks out. He's getting there slowly.
The problem with Asgard is he's got the talent. He knows he's got the talent.
Oh, Kerr, come on. When have we seen it?
Technically, he's good and he's got the talent. The problem with Asgard is he's not aggressive enough. He's not physical enough. And he hides in games because he doesn't want to get involved when it becomes physical. And for a boy that size, he should be getting involved, but he doesn't want to get involved. He likes the pretty stuff, but he doesn't like the dirty stuff. And you can't do that in Scotland. You can't do that at Rangers.
No.
I mean,
his confidence is shot, to be fair, isn't it? Do you know, that's
Gary. And you can see he has ability with the goal he scored against United. I know it was a one-off, but the ability is there. He plays with Norway internationally, so he must have some ability. But the ability can only take us so far. It's everything else. It's attitude and just be aggressive at times. Stick your foot in, stick your head in. I think that's why with the Rangers fans shouting for players like Finlay Curtis. Yeah, I know he's Scottish and he's one of yours, but he comes on and doesn't hide. He sticks in, and you see Mikey Moore getting stuck in. But Asgard doesn't do that kind of stuff. See, if he did it, you would say, well, he's putting a shift in. But he lets guys run by him, and he lets guys push him off the ball unless he's got the ball at his feet. He doesn't do the other side of football. He only wants it when the ball at his feet is fine. And you can't have a luxury player. If you don't have a luxury player, he has to be really, really good so he can afford it, and he's not really good enough for us to be a luxury player, I'm afraid.
Yeah. So we've diverted a wee bit, and sorry, I was seeing the Celtic score there in the background. Sorry, they're struggling as well. I think
You know,
it's,
getting beat. You know, Roma are a good side, to be fair.
I think they've just missed a penalty. If that's what's looking. Anyway,
Gary, I think they should cancel the Scottish League and just like give it to nobody. They say the teams
season
are all
aside.
that bad, man. The teams are all that bad. Just cancel the league and say, right, this year nobody's winning the title because you're all shite and you need to get better.
That's not fair on Hearts, Ricky.
No, they're shite as well. They're losing games all the time as well.
Hearts are actually decent for what they've got.
No, they're not, mate. No, they're not.
See, in terms of then, right, in terms of just sticking with that, right, because I was watching some of the Champions League games over the last couple of nights, and it's Real Madrid against Man City, it's Liverpool against, if it was they were playing against, I can't remember now, Inter Milan was it, and so forth, and watching it, you kind of thought, it's like a totally different sport. The levels, we are so far down nowadays, both Rangers, Celtic, Hearts, whoever it may be. Do you ever think we're going to get that back, Ricky, or at the moment, long since gone?
The only way you would ever get that back is like the English Premier League. That Spanish guy Balogun he was going on about that today. The English Premier League is a bubble, and all the teams are like spending within their means. Like they've started doing that. They're just absolutely chucking cash about. That's absolutely crazy. So if something like happened and a few teams went bankrupt and they had to start again in that league, but it's very, very difficult to see in our lifetime that we're never competing with their teams ever again, mate. And it's just money. It's money, mate. It's money. It's money that's ruined everything. With the Premier League, with the Sky deal, is just since their days, mate. It's for me, football's two different sports.
How long, Ricky, before the best we could do is conference level?
No, I think we can still. We can still. We can still compete in the Europa League. Just because Farewell destroyed Rangers doesn't mean that. I mean, you can't. If you look at it over the average, Gary, and take it over the last 10 seasons, right? I mean, if you take it, this is the first season that we've been terrible. So I think that we can get back to where we were last season with a few good signings and stuff like that. And I do like Rowe as a manager, but it's the Europa League is our level. Like, I mean, the Champions League is just going to be hidings. It'd be good for a bit of money, but it's hidings if we get back into that. That's for sure.
Come a day where if you win the Scottish League, you don't even get in the Champions League. You just go straight into Europa or the conference. You don't get in the Champions League.
It could be.
Could be better that way. So, Scott, the next 20 minutes or so, I did miss this because I was actually genuinely driving and I had to actually drive.
I wasn't
able to do that.
The police pulled them over at that point.
Behind you.
Actually, the police did fly by me. I think it scared me. Took me out. Anyway,
lucky you weren't tweeting. You would have been in jail, man.
I missed that 20 minutes. So I don't think there was much happening. I picked my daughter up and she said nothing much happened. Game was all right. There's no chances particularly either way.
No, but we didn't look under pressure. But that's what I mean. We looked okay, and I know that's no great. But for a side I've watched this season, it was better than what I've seen in the past.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I think there's a wee bit improvement. What he's done with these players, but there's only so much you can improve some of these guys.
So talking us through the goal, then we get the goal. So it's a shocking bit of defending from Rangers at first. Then Fernandez mishits the ball, which it's not fortunate enough goes by one of their players that run onto it, goes to Raskin, I think. Barron plays the ball to Gassama. Really good play by Gassama. It was pretty poor in most of the game. Ball out to Aarons, I think. Aarons crosses in. Danilo tries a powder puff shot, which goes to Miovski. We all think he's offside. Lovely finish in the back of net. It was actually a really good play by Barron, Gassama, Aarons, and I'll not even count Danilo because he just won his 10-year-old shots. And then the great finish from Miovski. But it was a good goal, good breakaway, one of those European breakaways you were talking about, Scott, that we used to do, go quickly at pace.
I've said it on here since the start. I know a lot of people don't like him, but if you give Miovski chances, he will score goals because that's what he does. He's overall plays no great at times, but he can finish. Mm-hmm. That's 3 goals in 2 games, and I know it's only Kilmarnock and tonight it's away in Europe, but he can't do any more. And it was a great finish. And we were okay. I thought Eddie started okay. I thought he was actually trying to get by foot and getting the ball in, but he's not done that before. He's always coming back. But I don't know if it's because he was playing in a 5 or a 3 into a 5, but even defensively that shape was poor as in that side, because I think him and Tav are getting mucked up. Who stays, who doesn't stay, and then at times there was a big gap between them and Giga was also having to come out. But I thought going forward we were trying to play the ball forward. Raskin was trying to play it, Cameron was trying to play it. Antip wasn't getting it at times because Sam was giving the ball away a few times. But we were trying to get forward. There wasn't as much of the passing to the back. Which I like. Sometimes if you take a risk, it comes off. If it doesn't, you're getting the ball away. I know that can cost you goals at times, but I like players taking a risk at times. See this, just the passing to the back constantly and not getting anywhere. It's okay to a point, but sometimes just take a risk. I mean, we're trying that at times, but you just don't have enough quality, Gary, to make a difference. Or the passes, but the pass was too short, too long, or the touch, or the control. But we were trying, which I like to see if you actually just put a bit of effort in. And some of them were trying tonight, I have to say. Nilo lets himself down a lot, Kisama as well, but I thought Raskin and Cameron in the first half title were really good.
And his other player, Barron, who was actually playing instead of Cameron, who keeps saying about Cameron, but it was
I know.
It was Barron.
Cameron in the brain.
I know. Ricky, on the goal, it was a good goal, and I think it was a really good finish from Miofsky. I think it was a toenail potential. I don't really. It was one of the ones you look at and you think, not quite sure. But good play leading up to it.
Yeah, no, definitely very good. And I think this team, we were capable. That's what I said. I thought the first half was a good Rangers, 44 minutes was a good Rangers away performance. It was the most we've looked like last season that I've watched this then in the games this season for that 44 minutes. And it was a great finish from Miofsky. I think the thing is, Miofsky, I think you can see a difference that Rowe's been working with him. But I think the team has to be smart, because I think if you get the ball to him quick in the box, he will score goals. But you've got to get the ball to just tell me, don't get Miofsky involved in. I'd like to see Moore playing with him to do what Miller used to do for Boyd and do the donkey work for him. Me personally, I don't know what you guys think. I prefer Moore in the middle than I do on the wings. I think he gets a little bit lost.
It was poor when he came on tonight.
I don't like him on the wings. I think if you play him with Miofsky, and he does all the good work for him, and then just gets the ball into him quick. I think Miofsky, I think you could see that player that we thought we were signing. I think it's you've got to be fair to him as well. He was out for a long time. He played no football at Girona last season, so maybe he has been super poor, Gary. But maybe we were a little bit because all the other strikers are so bad. It's hopefully now we're starting to see the Miofsky that we thought we were getting, because I think there is a decent enough striker in there, and we need one of our strikers to be doing it, because Danilo's no good enough, and Chershitty or whatever you want to call him, mate. He is absolutely Sterling looked more dangerous. Sterling actually looked more dangerous as a striker when Chershitty was on the park. That's how bad he is, mate. But no, good finish from Miofsky. And I like VAR, by the way, in Europe as well. I think it's it's right. It's no the tin pot VAR we've got with the squiggly lines and the camera angles in a different stadium, taking the angle of the. So I like VAR in Europe, and that was one that went for us. We needed one to go for us. We deserved that, but I mean it counts for nothing in the end. But good finish from Miofsky, and hopefully it wasn't bad. The injury went off, because if he's out for the games coming up, then God help us, Gary.
I'll start with you, Ricky. So we get to 44 minutes. You say it's looking quite comfortable. They've not created anything of note from that after we've scored. We're in our shape well. I think it's a kind of 4-3-3 when we've. 4-4-2 maybe when we've got the ball, switching to a 5 at the back when we've not got the ball. It was quite clever, we're moving and creating a bit more space, quite comfortable. And then I think they put a cross in to me. Magoma should clear the ball rather than letting it go over his head, and kind of then comes out to the side. And I suppose the big weakness here is Gisama basically just switches off, as he's done numerous times this season. Actually, his defensive awareness for a guy that plays wing back at times for Sheffield Wednesday and for us is horrendous. So he switches off. Ball gets cut back, guy gets a shot, and perhaps not unsurprisingly, the ball deflects off somebody to go into the back of the net.
Man. We find new ways to give away goals, Gary. We really do. 1 minute before half time, and the ref had a bit of he went through that mental 5 minutes when players were going off injured, and he thought he was sin binning. It was like they were
going to let Giga back on.
It was like he was sin binning them. They had to stand on the touchline for 2 minutes until they came back on. And then we defended really well. You're thinking, right, boys, brilliant. You've got in nothing daft. We've got into half time here. and we'll find another way just to give away an absolute, such a simple goal. It was a decent enough play for them, but they played right through us, and we had so many players in the box, Gary, but just nobody able to get to the ball and like just put their body on the line to stop it going in the net. And to be honest, I don't know about you guys, but when that goal went in, I was thinking to myself, I think that's us out of Europe. I think that's the final nail in the coffin. Even now, it's mathematically probably impossible now, and it's been an absolute disaster. It's probably our worst European campaign in many a year. So we'll be glad when it comes to an end, mate, and Roll can spend some time with these players on the training pitch, because that's what he needs and that's what they need just to get to January. And these 3 midweeks will be a blessing for this team, mate.
Yeah. And on the goal, Scott, so Gassama has, and I can think of the Brugge game, I can think of numerous games where he's just not tracked somebody, and it's cost us a goal. Do you know, it's lazy defending. You watch any game of football, and it's about a team doing its job and actually sticking with players and all the stuff that goes with it. Because of that, Raskin has to cut across, leave the guy that's actually the pass the ball back to who gets a shot in, and it's just really, really weak defending, lazy defending, and actually cost his team a goal.
Yeah, it's not the first time, Gary, but you get that for your attacking players. Some attacking players can defend, they put a shift in, but some don't like doing it, and some can't do it. And I think Gassama's maybe stuck in between doesn't like doing it and can't do it. He struggles with that side, doesn't he? He struggles with somebody moving off him, but that's his game basically. He's moving off somebody else when he's attacking. But he does, and it's poor. But see, goals like that, sometimes you're easier to. The other team scores them easier when your own box is packed. See, there's as many Rangers players there. They might not pass what they want to, so maybe take a shot and then the keeper ends up saving it. But because you do the passing movement is decent, to be fair, but there's a lot of Rangers players in a certain area that just pass around about them. It's like a training game for them that way, Joe. You play the wee training games like that, because no Rangers players really moving. No one again that moves is Raskin, and he's the one that shouldn't be moving, because when he moves, it gives a good opportunity to have a stripe. But he only moves, like you say, Gary, because Gassama's letting the big man go to the byline.
Aye.
Doesn't have to even go with him. Do you know what I mean?
It's one of those ones, if Raskin just runs but not quite as straight line, then he blocks the cutbacks. Just there's tiny wee bits. It's not his fault. I'm just saying that.
I don't even know if Bottom saved it because it came off Fernandez's foot, didn't it?
Giga, was it Giga? Maybe I can remember. What one it was? I think it was come off Giga's foot, I think, and then which happens a lot. As you say, it's a packed box. Again, it's a shot. It's often going to hit off somebody before it goes in.
That's the thing. You take a shot. We don't do that often enough. It's a packed box. We try to pass around about the box. You're just having a dig like that.
There wasn't enough times we were near the box today to make that an issue, to be fair.
I mean, just in general.
In the second half, then, we don't make any changes, and we could sum up again. I don't remember a lot happening in the second half at all from them or us. I think it was a pretty bland game. It was one of the ones that would get football switched off. If there was something better on the TV, you might have put it on to something else, Ricky. But into the second half, first 10, 15 minutes, we've same lineup. Nothing much has happened. I remember maybe one kind of long ball they had that Tav was a way up. But I think I'm not sure whether that's because they lose the ball. Gassama loses the ball comes across, and it's 2 against 2, and they've maybe well defended by Giga. That's probably the only thing I remember, that first 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, but that's the same thing what we were speaking about before. Just because we never conceded a goal that time, it's still, you've got to defend from the front. We're determined to play this high line with our defence, and we're not good enough to play a high line with the defenders we've got on the park. Like, even Super Ali was pulling his hair out in commentary. He's like, where's Tavernier? I need to see that again. Like, where is Tavernier? Why is there such a massive gap in our defence? Our defence is, I'm not being cheeky, Gary, but our defence is brain dead, man. We don't have... I get worried when I hear, we're offering Suter a new deal, we're offering Tavernier, we're offering this player a new deal. It's like, in what world are we offering these players a new deal? I find it absolutely mind-boggling. We've not won a trophy since '55. We've won 1 League Cup, and we're handing out new deals. Max Aarons, should we keep Max Aarons? Should we keep this player? Should we keep that player? Rangers should be absolutely getting rid of as many players from this squad as we possibly can and starting again with a really good young manager who's got Ralph Ranrick on the bat phone, is able to call them up. But when I see these players, I disagree with you, Gary. I thought we were all over the place.
They weren't doing anything. They weren't creating
No, we weren't creating anything, but I thought they started to dominate us. I thought Barron, I thought we completely lost our way. I thought our passing was so bad. We were giving the ball away. I think, as I said, in the first half, I thought we looked decent and it was okay up to the 44th minute. I don't know if it was the goal maybe deflated us, and that is what went back to like the Rangers of old this year in Europe, because that has a massive effect, that goal just before half time. But after the goal went in, I just didn't see it with the team in the second half. To me, it didn't look the same as the first half. I didn't have the same confidence that we were going to create anything or we were going to get that goal to go 2-1. And if we did go 2-1, I probably wouldn't have any confidence that we'd be able to hold on to it, Gary. That's just, to me, we just need to get this European campaign over with this group of players. They're just no good enough to play in Europe. Most of them are championship level at best, these players that are in the squad. And when you step up, I think it's good for us long term, because when you step up the levels, you see it with Celtic just now. I mean, Roma's not even that great a team and they're hammering them at Parkhead. When you step up that level, just that you need, it shows you how good we've been the last 4 seasons, to be honest, because we started taking Rangers European nights for granted. And now we're like begging to get them back. Next season, we're going to be worried again, thinking, oh no, is it going to be last season or is it going to be the good European teams? So we will see, mate. We will see. But
I'm sorry. I'm going to be conscious. Just pick up on something. You said, right, championship level. I just want to pick up on that, right? So when we were at 51-55, we reached Europa League final. All of our players were championship level players. Joe Aribo was a championship level player. Brian Kent's a championship level player. Balogun's a championship level player, as was Goldson, Tav, all other ones. So they weren't better quality, inverted commas, players than this. They were basically at a level, and you've seen it since a career afterwards. Morelos, even arguably, before and afterwards, it weren't any better level than there. So is that tactical? Is it ability? Is it experience? Is it squad?
No way, mate. I mean, you look at up to a couple of weeks ago, until his legs gave in because we overused him to death, Tavernier was still the best player in our team and the only player creating chances, mate. And this is Tavernier that's like done, that's 33, 34 years old. And that shows you how bad this. Every single player from that team walks into this team, Gary. So you're speaking about players that Steven Gerrard personally went to their houses and said, and they were sprinkled around with your Connor Goldsons and players like that at the time were like a real coup for Rangers to sign these players. So this squad does definitely lack leaders. And if you manage to get 4 or 5 leaders into the squad and a spine, then some players might start to look a little bit different, and you might be able to take a few players along. I'm not seeing it with Asgard. I think he's a lost cause. Rothwell's a lost cause. There's a few others that are a complete lost cause. But if you have a decent spine, Gary, other players can come along with that. And this team and squad has got absolutely. Yeah, if your spine is John Suter, Butland, who was all over the place tonight with his distribution, massive part of the problems that we're speaking about was not being able to keep the ball. He kept kicking it back to the opposition. It was just crazy. And then you look up front, you don't have a striker. Midfield, Raskin and Barham was dodgy tonight as well with their passing in the second half. Then it's very difficult to compete at this level.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. And I suppose I was just making the point. I think a good manager picking and a good recruitment team picking the right players from the championship, from that level around the bottom end of the Premiership, whatever way you want to do it, can still succeed. It's not the argument that these players can't perform as a unit. It's about the fact we've bought the wrong players. But you're buying the wrong players from the Championship. It's the issue, not the level they're playing at potentially. And we're going to the set. So as the second half goes on, 55 minutes, Scott, I think we bring on Sterling and Moore. Is that right? I think at that point, Max Aarons was obviously that crazy booking in the first half for trying to run for the linesman telling him to run on the pitch and the referee telling him to back off again. And I think he'd always said he was going to get half an hour, Sterling and Moore. So I was surprised Danilo didn't come off for Moore, because I think it'd be pretty ineffective. He's weak. He's not particularly involved in the game, and he can't really defend. So I was a little bit surprised that Gassam went off, because he has that bit of magic Moore that always he wasn't performing particularly well either.
No, he wasn't. He went off in a huff, didn't he? He was arguing with Matoma, wasn't he?
He's a bit of an attitude. He does look like he's got a bit of an attitude at times.
That's not football players have, because it's always somebody else's fault if they pass the ball away or they don't get it. They blame somebody else. I mean, I know you were saying there Ricky Barron, and I thought they were okay, Barron, and asking that even in the second half, yeah, they're passing.
Barron's passed him as
I
well.
was loose, Gary, but see, and some of the passing was really poor because he passed out. But see, a lot of times you're playing a middle part and you look up and there's no anybody, there's no runners. You struggle. You do. You think, where do I go with this? And you're having to turn back on yourself and you're like, oh, there's Jiga and Fernandez, they struggle as well. Where do you go? So you give the midfield boys a bit of slack at times because there's not a lot there. We need another midfielder in there. Two's not enough. I think two's enough for Rangers. I think we need somebody else in it to complement it to them. We need somebody who's...
So, like Dale, for example, on Saturday played Dale with the three midfielders.
No, that Dale Mandy, no. We need somebody like...
But that principle around three players playing...
Who can pass a ball, so they can rotate and stuff, but somebody who's good on the ball and who can just see the field in front of him and say, right here, there, and actually talk to players moving about. There's nobody... We've not got a spiny team. The centre-backs don't do it. Midfielders don't do it, and there's nobody up front. Majowski has been trying. You see him talking to folk and pointing and saying, you go that way, but nobody listens to him, probably don't understand them. But we need a spiny team. That's what Danny Rule needs first, to get the spine correct, because every manager tries that, and once he gets that, then there's some players that you could probably fit in round about. But until that's there, we're always going to have this problem, because sometimes they're playing as individuals, sometimes they're trying different things that don't seem to click, and you ask Danny Rule at this moment in time which your best 11, he might struggle to tell you his best 11, because I think there's a lot of players he's seen enough of, but he's thinking, I'm not getting anything else to pick at this moment in time, so I need to either keep him on the bench or give him minutes. So I think he's even struggling to see what his best 11 is at this moment, because I don't think what we're seeing as an 11 he wants, especially the back four. Do you know that way? And I think when you get people coming on like myself, and you see that night, Aaron's just starting to look good, but decent,
look average,
passable, aye. But that's not me saying he should be kept next season. Do you know that way? But he's looking passable, because before that he was actually dreadful. But that's just how low it is, because these guys are playing like 30 minutes, half an hour, 30 minutes, half an hour, 30 minutes, a full half, or 40 minutes, whatever. And you're thinking, oh, he looks passable, like he's actually been decent. But in reality, they've not been decent. They've just been better than what we've seen. So it's very hard to judge these players, because there's a lot of them can't get any better than what we are seeing.
I'm going to pick on one, right? And I'm picking on, because I watch every week. I hear people talking about him all the time. Magoma, we talk about a guy that's got no personality in a game. He's there. He's just there. He offers very little. I get he's a young player. I get he's developing his game. I get he's potentially going to be a really good player. But every single game I watch him, he's just there. He doesn't actually get involved in the game.
He wants to put the ball forward all the time, which I like about him. Because every time he would try to put it forward to Gassama, and didn't always come off, but he's trying it.
He has, whatever you say about Jeffrey, and Ricky said a lot about Jeffrey, he was present in the game. I just think, whenever I watch him, I mean, Aaron's has been terrible at times, but at least he was involved in the game. I just think Magoma doesn't he participate in the game.
I think as Rangers fans, this moment in time, you can look at any player in your squad, and we can probably pick out the negatives.
There's nobody been good. I'm just picking him because nobody ever talks about it, and I watch him every day, and he
There's no connections, boys.
He's on left back they've got, so he has to play there. But I think when he has to get the ball, he does try to put it down the line. He does try to get Gassama into games, and I think that's a positive for him. He doesn't hide. He does try to defend. Granted, he's not the most physical, but he does try to defend as well. I think he does okay. But as I said earlier, okay, he's not good enough, but I think he does okay.
He's all right, and he's better in a back five. I think he's better as a wing back. But Gassama was playing in front of him the nights, and I just didn't think that worked. I don't think he's he's no one I'd be the money they're speaking about. I know he's playing at English youth level, Gary, but I just don't think we've got connections. I don't think we've got connections on the left side. I think Tav and I thought Aaron's was okay tonight, but I think him and Tav were getting in each other's way. But there's Danilo's no a right winger, so it's like, why is he there? And to be fair to Danilo in the first half, he made some decent runs inside. and was stretching them with some decent runs. But there's no connections on the left. There's no connections on the right. The centre backs have got no connections. Barron and Raskin try, but I agree with Kerr, they're overrunning midfield because they're playing against free, or they're playing against players that have got a little bit more experience and that little better understanding. So the team lacks connection all over the park, and that's, I mean, this. Listen,
There is no team, Ricky. It's a number of individuals.
There's no team. I find this mental that like, people think that a role is, or any manager could just wave a magic wand and fix the mess that we're in. By the way, this is a Gerrard. It's going to take two seasons, 3 seasons. I know fans don't want to hear that, and people say, "Oh, he's not going to get the time," and all that. You've got to give him the time, Gary.
There'll be no fans in the stadium, Ricky. There'll be nobody in the stadium.
There's nobody in the stadium already. There's nobody. You're going to the game now. There's 10,000. They're not. But to be fair to the fans, Gary, I don't think they're not going. They're not going to the stadium because of Danny Rowe. They're not going to the stadium because the squad is Felwell Rangers. The players that we've bought are absolutely murdering. They're like, I'm going to stand in the cold and watch Shermitty. I'm going to stand in the cold and watch Asgard, who doesn't even run about. And you can't blame fans for that because they've been so loyal for the last, like, since we came up the leagues and stuff like that. So if fans are choosing not to go because the players are not trying a leg, then you can't really blame them. But that's, to me, is a different argument than you've got to give someone the chance to rebuild this because it seriously needs it, Gary.
No, I'd agree. I think it's a poor team with it's a team of international players at youth or international level, so that they're not poor footballers, most of them. But it's not a team. There's very little about a team around it. I mean, I think I'd be lying if I said they're poor players because most of them aren't actually. The truth is, most of them are at elite level because they're good footballers. They're just not playing as a team. I don't look like a team.
Gary, even the goals we scored, though, if you look at the goals, they're all moments goals.
Individual stuff.
They're all individual stuff. They're not like, oh, that's a great bit of play, and then the ball's crossed in and it's a great finish. It's all like one touch finish from Miovski or great finish from Miovski, like Mikey Moore taking it on the turn and then smashing it in the bottom corner. There's no team goals. Simple goals that we used to see, and that's like you turn up at Ibrox in the first half. Rangers used to go bang 1, bang 2, bang 3-0 up at half time. Even this set piece, it's easy for me to say, set piece coach. He's came in and Taft's just ignoring him and still banging the exact same corners that he's been doing for 10 years. It's bonkers, mate. Absolutely bonkers.
So we should finish the game, and it's getting to 45 minutes in. So we get towards the end of the game, Scott, and we lose a second goal. We never looked like creating very much, to be honest. I think I can't remember if at that point we'd made more subs, but a long ball over the top. A little bit puzzled how, as Ricky said, a 70-yard ball when you're playing 3 at the back, you manage to have all that space on the right hand side. You know, when you've got that number of players there. Tav, does he do enough to stop with the cross? Just talk us through Fernandez. I just don't understand it. You do coaching, you do scouting. To actually not be looking at the ball and walking away. I don't know, walking up the park.
Did honestly, if I was coach, you'd have been subbed after that. I said to you,
what was he doing? I don't
know, Gary. He turned his back in it and he turned round to see where the player was. He should be goal side there. It doesn't matter where the player is at the end of the day. Fernandez should be focused on the ball. I know that you should know the players there, right? But you should always be focused on the ball because that's the thing you need to win.
No.
You know, and he's not focused on the ball at all. He's trying to trace in this boy, and any time he turns around to see where the guy's running away celebrating, it's very, very poor. His awareness is shocking, and his positional sense is shocking. Yeah, Tav should stop the cross, but when's the last time Tav stopped the cross? I know the time he's been with Rangers, Tav's not been a good defender. He's never stopped a cross. I can run by Tav.
Every team puts crosses in all games. It's part of football. You know, the centre half's there to defend it, and I mean either side. We're putting crosses in.
For a guy's size, he's decent at attacking the ball in there. But for a guy that size and physicality wise, jumping for standing position or trying to defend somebody in his own box, he struggles. I can see that side of him. Do you know that way? That's probably how we stuck him up front later on because he thought the ball in the air. But I don't know what he's doing. He's got to be pulled aside and told, you can't do that again. That's shocking defending. It's very, very. I know you said League One player earlier, but that's even worse. That's really, really poor because the boy doesn't have to do nothing to score it. And I like to say to Robbie Keane that celebrated it. It was 3 points again, a very, very poor Rangers side. He celebrated like he's won the Europa League. I hope his next strike's a hedgehog, I really do.
Yeah. I thought Ireland had won the World Cup on another. He was watching it on his phone or something, man. The celebration at the end was a bit wild, like, running about like an absolute
He's won 3 points, but this Rangers side's tough, and we all know it's tough. But listen, some fans will come and go, but some fans will stick. And all it takes is to buy 1 or 2 players. January is a difficult window, but if you can sign 1 or 2, they don't have to be superstars, don't have to cost a lot of money, just guys with a bit of dig, a bit of organisation.
It's a spine, it's a centre back, it's a central midfielder, and it's maybe either a creative player or a striker. That would make a huge difference to the team.
Christian Daly's been mentioned, right? Before, I know we signed him in the past.
Christian Daly?
Right? No, but Christian Daly, we signed in the past, was mentioned to me, right?
He'll still be better.
But see, so I'm going to say a name, right? But I'm not talking about
Grant Hanley.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Wait, drum roll.
Somebody just mentioned it there. A guy like Hanley, right? He's not the greatest player, right? Mm-hmm. But he's physical and he knows how to defend. And that's what we've not got. Even the boy Gogic at St Mirren, he's physical. I mean, how to defend. There's no point laughing because when you look at our centre backs at the moment, they can't head the ball and they can't defend. So having these guys in there, and even Suter struggles, and so does Cornelius struggle. But somebody who's just a big defender, it doesn't really do much else. That's what we need in the box. Somebody to say to somebody else, you get him, and I'll get this. We don't have that at the back. We don't have anybody organising it.
No,
we don't have anybody saying, my ball, I'll get it. Used to give it the right. I'm getting this. We don't have that. And that's what these players do. Limited ability-wise, but they can defend.
I don't want to, no disrespect to Grant Hanley, but I don't want to place a bad player with another bad player. Do you know, I think that's one of the things I would say. I do get the point.
Somebody like that. It's just somebody we need a bit of experience to mould that defence because there's no experience in there.
The team lacks leadership across the spine of it. That's why you've got McGomez.
That might help.
Well, as would Suter, to be fair, being fit as well.
Suter's to me is too much of a bomb scare. Somebody mentioned Kyle Bartley, and he done it in the past as well when he came in. Suter's decent, but Suter needs help.
Kyle Bartley being good or bad? Kyle Bartley was horrendous.
Kyle Bartley was actually all right. Suter needs help. But
Suter's not a leader.
No, he's not a leader. He's a good defender.
No, leader. He's a defender. He's not a leader.
I wouldn't have given Suter a deal. I was 50-50 in it.
I would not give him a deal. I think it's madness.
At the moment,
we'll come back to that in a minute, right? So I'm going to just get a shout out to Brian, who's in Budapest now on the train and putting lots of comments in. So it's just safe journeys, safe travels, and respect you for going all the way over there to watch what was likely to be a lot of drivel, and it was. It turns out from there. So last 10 minutes, Scott. I don't. We huffed it. No, it was who was talking. I'll go to Ricky. Ricky, last 10 minutes, we huffed and puffed a bit. And I know what Scott's answer would be to this. I'm going to come to you. We should arguably score when Curtis has a really good effort, but a really bad decision because he should just touch the ball to Mikey Muir, who's completely free beside him.
He should, you're right, but I mean, it was a decent effort. It was a good effort. It was a great save for the goalkeeper because it took a deflection in the bottom corner. So I agree he should have passed it to Moore. But at the end of the day, I mean, these wingers and strikers are a bit greedy. He wants a goal. And I thought Curtis was really good when he came on. The difference, how he's not getting minutes for me, Gary. You see when he comes on, he puts in two good crosses. He's a Rangers man. He's keen. He wants to get involved in the match. He's going to make mistakes. It's not going to be perfect. He wasn't perfect when he came on against Kilmarnock. He's not played. He's on a plastic pitch. He's not played for weeks and weeks, so you need to give him a little bit of slack. He's not going to just come into the team and be absolutely amazing. But for me, he's a starter. We need to get as many less shite players in our team as we possibly can. And Curtis gives you that. Moore gives you that, but play Moore in the middle. I'd love to see, even you can keep Gassama in the team on the left, play Moore in the number 10, Miovski, and play Curtis on the right, because Curtis is flexible. And for me, with Bajrami being out, that gives you a decent four that is going to create chances for Miovski going forward if they're all fit with this massive crazy business. Europe now, mate, play I want to see play anyone, all these kids that are on the bench, play all them in Europe, because I don't care if we take 2 absolute tankings. Europe is done for us, mate. And that last 10 minutes, we were huffy and puffy. There was a few. Sterling nearly got in a couple of times. Shermitty came on, and I mean, Jesus, 8 million again. You're bringing it. McCoy said, "Oh, brilliant! Rangers will be able to. They've got a big striker up front. He'll be able to hold the ball up now." He never touched the ball once when he came on. Just absolutely amazing. We paid 8 million for him, mate. But no, it's interesting. We're going to probably have an interesting discussion now. But for me, I will see you. I'll let you ask the question about who you keeping with these contract situations, but it's bonkers to me that Rangers are offering these players new contracts, to be honest, and on more money as well. We're getting robbed, Gary.
I certainly in terms of the rumours around contract for Suter, I think Suter probably does a job as a Scottish defender having the squad, the European contingent, all of the stuff that goes with it. He's a Scotland international. I think I said on Monday, I don't think he's the first choice. He should not be the first choice. He should be one of the 4 or 5 centre backs that we have, as opposed to having currently 4 woeful ones. So I don't have a problem. Tav, I've always said, there's an argument if he was sitting as part of the squad on half the wages to be part of the squad and contribute to the odd game next season. I could see that, but to be honest, I think it makes sense for him to leave as well, both for his sake and for the club's. So I don't have a strong opinion either way. The loan players, I was not one of them I would keep. Mikey Moore, potentially, if you could get another chance with him, if he continues that three good games he's played. So we're making a judgment on 3 good games he's actually had. And then other than that, it's building effectively a whole new team. So there's lots to be done. And maybe Europe was put into focus. Now, I suppose let's not get carried away, Scott. Europe's been terrible, but we've also, in the last 7 games, we've won 5 league games and drew 2. So, and we have had a far better run than we had before. So while emotions involved and while we're quite unhappy with the result, and it's a poor performance, a pretty abject game and a disappointing European run, the league should always be and will remain the priority. And in a few weeks now, we'll get to the window to maybe start to repair some of the damage that's been done up to now.
Yeah, Gary, I agree with that. I think domestically we should be doing better because we've struggled for a long time domestically, and European football's kind of been the light at the end of the tunnel, but that's not here this season. So, listen, we're still far off the top of the league, but you should always strive to get there. And like I said earlier, Daniel has improved. It's not massively, but you see him improvement since he's come in, especially domestically. But he needs help. He needs help with the board, he needs help with signings, but January is difficult to get because the players he wants might not be available, or you're paying me all over the odds. You don't really want to do that either. As a contract situation, I kind of agree with you. I wouldn't be offering the 2 big contracts. I wouldn't be offering Suter a big contract, but John's got every right to demand something because it could be his last big contract. He might want to say, no, I'm looking for more than that because this is my last big one before I maybe start to go down. As for Tav, I think after you're the mascot for Tav's testimony, I think after that night, when I watch you walk out holding Tav's hand at Ibrox, you and Tav walking at the park together.
He's about half the size of me. I look a bit weird.
And Ricky's fine up especially for it. No, I think it's best Tav leaves. I don't want him to stay longer and then he gets hundreds criticism because he has been a very good servant for what he's signed him for many games he's played and stuff like that. And there's a lot of the criticism he gets not his fault because there's been poor recruitment. It's not to Tav to buy the players, the teams he's played in. But I think he's probably been here longer than he should have. But like I said again, that's not his fault, that's just poor recruitment.
Aye, I'd agree. And we'll see, at the end of the day, until you build a squad again that's actually good enough to compete, which we've not been for the last couple of years. It doesn't matter what player becomes the captain or what player becomes because we're still not going to do it. We need to sign the right players. And
the night was the best comment Alan McCoy's made when he said about Aaron's. When he come on the park and get a yellow card and back off, he's like, no wonder he come on early. He wants to come on. He wants to come back on the night, no tomorrow.
It was funny. I mean, some of that was mental. The ref was a bit.
What's that ref all about?
I mean, we'll get out of refereeing in general. He was a bit mental, but watching any
Wild.
So I'm just going to come right to the last point because it's 9:30, and Brian, as I say, is in Budapest, so it makes sense. And he's got me by saying, "I love your channel." That was a bit that got it. So we're going to let him ask the last question then. So 8 players need to go. just want some consistency. I think that's probably it. I mean, we Ricky, come at you then on that. Basically, we need to get rid of a number of players, which you won't be able to do in January. But really,
but I said earlier on, this is going to take 2 seasons, mate, at minimum. You've got to be fair. But we're keeping shite like John Souttar and Tavernier. They've been great servants. They've done a job for the club the years that they've been there. But honestly, it blows my mind that we would offer any player in this squad a new contract. Even Raskin, man. I think Raskin, we've got that extra year. Let him go to the World Cup. Let him have a good World Cup as he will with Belgium. And then his value is going to absolutely skyrocket. You cash in the summer. You use the money from Raskin. Danny Rowe has got a massive contact book with Red Bull. He knows Ralph Ranrick. He knows all these best proper recruitment guys, by the way. Know the Mickey Mouse guys we've got at Ibrox, where God knows what analytics they're using. And we need to back this manager, Gary. We cannot keep sacking managers. If you keep sacking managers, we're never, ever, ever, ever going to build the Rangers that we need, because it's not just about building Rangers to win 1 championship and stop Celtic winning 10 again. It's got to be like almost happened when we won 55. You've got to get back to dominance. Look at the state of them over the other side. They've brought in this manager, and I'm not saying that he's going to be totally crap or he's going to be this long term, but he's had an absolute shocking start after Martin O'Neill. That's 2 defeats in a week. If he loses to St Mirren in the cup final, then even going to Parkhead on the 3rd, mate, they're no invincible as they've been like the last 5 seasons. We can easily go there. As formation as he plays one way, he plays 3 at the back, which is 3 defenders. There's gaps all over the place. He's playing 2 wingers that are no good enough to play as wing backs, and Yang and Tanetki. And then, so Celtic are really struggling. They're all over the place. So but we need to take our time. We need to find the right players, Gary. I understand the argument for some fans that are saying, well, if you get rid of Souttar, if you get rid of Tavernier, if you get rid of too many players, and the players you bring in are no good enough. But you kind of look at something like that. You kind of look at a problem as you keep the problems and until you find players that are good enough to get rid of the problems. That's not how it works. It might be the dressing room itself that's the problem. It might be if you keep old leaders that are there, it's hard for new leaders to emerge, mate. I see that in my own line of work and stuff. Sometimes you've got to clear the decks to let young people grow and flourish. You've had voices that have been there for too long, and they're like, and that holds other people back. So for me, Rangers need a complete clear out, mate. You need to start all over again. Admit the summer. I mean, listen, the people that created this mess have already been fired, and you need to completely rip it up and start again, as you would like, I don't know. This is as big a rebuild as Rangers have ever had in my lifetime, anyway. And that's the way you've got to look at it. You can't be keeping problems to then try and wait until you think you've got a solution to get rid of the problem. You've got to try your best to fix this. And it's difficult in January, but we've got to do it. You've got to look in Scotland as well, by the way. There's good players playing in our league that we need to be looking at. We're way too snobby, sticking our nose up. Grant Hanley was a fair stretch for the scout up the top there, man. But there is players in Scotland. There is players in Scotland that are good options. Good options that we need to be looking at, because that they know the league and they've proved they can do it in the league, Gary. So if you bring in 3 or 4 of them, and then you look at sprinkle your magic on top of that. I mean, to miss out on Mulligan and to miss out on Shankland was totally absolute neglect from the scouts that were there at the time and the board to let these guys get away with murder, mate. So for me, it's got to be massive.
And those signing Scottish players, I'm never sure, or not Scottish-based players. I don't know anything about them. All I've ever watched them against Rangers or Celtic. How good or bad they are, I don't know. Never seen them in another game against anybody else. It's a bit like the Miovski debate. I thought he ran through to score his goals, but that wasn't the way he plays. I was talking to somebody about Cammy Devlin, a Hearts fan that goes to all the games, and he said he's probably not as good as Barron. He's a decent enough player, but he's not as good as Barron. For example, we make assumptions around a lot of these players on the few times we see them, isn't it? And so, as any football fan does.
Mate, the Hearts I've watched the last couple of weeks, I've watched maybe 5 or 6 of their games in the last 10 times they've played. Cammy Devlin has been absolutely
I
outstanding.
thought he's been good as well.
He has been like miles above what Barron's been doing for Rangers. He's been the best player in Scotland this season, and Shankland has been the second best player in Scotland this season. He's a top scorer. He holds the ball up now. His all-round game is absolutely outstanding. He's everything that we don't have in any of our strikers. The two players that are probably, I would say, that the games I've watched with Hearts that are overrated. I think Braga is a really good player. He's got a bit of the natural novo about him. But that other 1 million points at Scrabble that they signed for the Greek league, he's been really disappointing in the games I've watched. But no, they're the two for me that have really shown for Hearts. So like Devlin, he was man of the match at the weekend against Celtic, and Shankland has been absolutely outstanding. He was really good at Celtic as well. So that's
it's all about opinions.
Hearts don't give a lot away at the back.
No, exactly. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Sign Stuart Finlay.
Stuart Finlay for Cully, because McInnes knows him. And do you know what I mean? But that's what I mean. Sign somebody in the league that knows the league. I didn't mean sign Grant Hanley. I'm just saying somebody with that calibre of player. Just somebody with experience in the league. That's what you need.
I'm going to give you the last point, Scott, because it is 25 to 10 now, and it's Thursday night. So we're obviously talking just about, I suppose, your overall reflections on tonight's game and the European run as a whole so far.
Awful, Gary. Awful. Last two games haven't been too bad. Still not been good enough, but they've been improving in the other ones. But overall, the full season's been awful at this moment in time. But as I say, things can only get better. We just hope it does. But it's a long road. But it's a road that we'll watch. We just hope it's not as long as it took us the last time. But we can't keep rebuilding every season. It's not feasible. No. Because you do a rebuild and another manager comes in and he's got somebody else's players, and you do it again, he's got somebody else. It's just a cycle after cycle, and then before you know it, you're another 5 years down the road. So it has to end at some point. So we need to give Rule a chance. We have to give him some cash, but the recruitment has to be right. We have to sign more players. We get spot on this time. See our players that aren't good enough, or players that can't play up in Scotland. I know that's a cliche saying you can't play in Scotland, but to be honest with you, some of them don't like it up here. They can't hack the physicality.
Would you see there's always a lot of talk, right? And the last point, really, genuinely, is I've seen the one about Joe Aribo there. There's always the stuff that bring back, I don't know, Ryan Kent, bring back Christian Daly, like you said. But however, would you?
He was a name, I mean, I'll bring him back. He's older than me.
Someone said Morelos. Someone said Morelos last week. But I swear,
I don't like looking back. I don't, because
I agree.
As a thing a lot of football fans do, they look back at the boys that they like before and they first all played and they think, oh, that's a kind of romance thing, isn't it? It's like bringing these guys back, we know what they can do, but it doesn't always work. Sometimes it does, but I think you're better looking forwards, especially to give the manager a chance. And listen, the Kent and Aribo were good in my here, but Kent got a lot of stick before he left. Aribo got a lot of stick for being lazy. I mean, Tolwyn was here, he got a lot of stick, so they all get it no matter who plays with Rangers. It's just the ones we look back on and think, I mean, Ryan Jack's still playing. Do you want to go back for him as well?
He's probably playing more games than he did with Rangers, Ryan Jack, now. Anyway, we've came to the end of the pod, so thank you everybody for watching it, and those that are in Budapest watching, because I've seen a few in the comments. Safe journeys home and all that sort of stuff with it. Have a few drinks, enjoy your time there, and hopefully it'll be you'll have forgot most of the game by the time the next couple of hours come and you're fully lubricated up. We will be back on, I don't know, we're not back on Monday, because Monday night we play Hibs at Ibrox. So
Tuesday, right?
We'll probably be Tuesday if the results woeful again. I don't know if we can face it, but hopefully if we win, we'll be definitely back on Tuesday. If we don't win, we'll get back to you all. But no, the plan, I think, is to be on Tuesday, Scott. Time of year.
Well, I think it's agreeable we'll come back on Tuesday, because obviously we'll be at the game Monday night, so it'll be Tuesday.
So hopefully we get 3 points against Hibs, and by that point in time, we are also closed in. What would the gap be, Ricky, in terms of closing in points? Because Celtic are in the
look forward, Gary. Don't you just?
Yes, well, I want to finish an optimistic note.
Well, we'll be 3 points behind. 3 points behind Celtic. 3 points behind Celtic. Don't worry about Hearts.
That time someone's won a cup as well.
Yes, that's what we're going for. And I'm away to watch the last 15 minutes of Celtic now Roma 4 for their finish.
Did they not
so let's-
score? They scored, did they not? I looked and it was
Yeah,
3-1.
Top half of
Top off.
VAR Celtic score.
Did it?
It's now back to 3-0 anyway, so there's been goal shots off everywhere.
Used to got Celtic TV on in the background, right?
I've got Sky Sports.
But it's not on Sky Sports. It's on TNT.
I've got an automatic call from my TV.
Happening.
As soon as Celtic go and lead, the TV just switches itself on to standby. So until then, it stays on.
Celtic games. I didn't even watch the Celtic Hearts game. I'm not interested in watching them. Unless I play
Anyway, we're not going to finish with talking about Celtic. So we were back Monday night. Tuesday after the Rangers Hibs game, as it hopefully brings us closer to the ones at the top of the table. Maybe it moves into third, and one of seven big games coming up between now and the beginning of January, middle of January, against Aberdeen and Hearts and Hibs and Celtic. Motherwell, I think. Aberdeen twice. So lots of big games. So let's get the first one out of the way. We'll get 3 points and hopefully bring us closer to January the 1st when we get rid of some of these duds and bring in some new duds. And on that note, we will see you next week. Take care. Bye now.